Unravel the threads of relationships, reshape the ties that bind, and step into a realm beyond all boundaries. Welcome to a place where limits cease to exist. Can you feel it? There's something undeniably different coursing through your veins. Perhaps you've never found the words to name it, never captured it in a sentence, but deep within your soul, you know you're unlike anyone else. People look at you, their eyes flickering with curiosity, as if trying to solve a mystery they can't quite grasp. Some gaze in awe, captivated by the light you radiate without even trying. Others simmer with envy, their stares tinged with resentment because you dare to be unapologetically you. And then there are those who seek to drag you down, hurling life's harshest trials your way, hoping you'll break. But you don't break, do you? No matter how fiercely life swings its hammer, you rise, stronger, wiser, more unbreakable than ever. Why? Because you're no ordinary soul. You are a woman favored by God, chosen, set apart, guided by a force so vast it defies imagination. Today, I'll unveil 8 powerful signs, vivid proof that you walk in divine favor. If even one of these echoes in your life, know this: you're destined for a purpose far greater than the world could ever design for you. Stay with me until the end, for once you see these signs, you'll never doubt your worth again. Sign 1. Rising through suffering. Let's begin with the first undeniable sign that you are a woman favored by God: your ability to transform suffering into strength. Life is a crucible of suffering. Anyone who claims otherwise is either blind to reality or weaving a comforting lie. Yet within this harsh truth lies a profound revelation. Suffering is the mirror that reflects who you truly are. A woman favored by God isn't someone who has glided through an easy existence, untouched by trials. No, that's a fantasy far from her reality. She is the one who has stumbled through an easy life. No, quite the opposite. She has marched boldly through flames and emerged not just intact, but fortified. She has faced the sting of loss, the cold bite of rejection, and the relentless grind of hardship, yet she has never allowed these to shatter her spirit. Most people, when adversity looms, buckle under its weight. They turn bitter, their hearts hardening as they cast blame outward, letting pain carve their identity into something small and resentful. But you're different. You take the raw, jagged edges of suffering and mold them into something luminous and meaningful, a testament to your divine favor. Consider this: a person who has wrestled with immense struggle and refused to let it crush them carries a rare aura. They walk with a quiet dignity that can't be mimicked, speak with a depth that resonates beyond words, and exude a presence that demands notice. Not because they chase the spotlight, but because their very being pulses with resilience. Others sense it, even if they can't name it. They feel the gravity of the battles you've fought and won, and it pulls them in, some with awe, others with unease. But this strength, forged in the fire, comes at a price. The moment you rise above your pain, not everyone will cheer your triumph. Some will envy the light you've kindled in the darkness. Others will resent the reminder of their own untested fragility. A few will even provoke you, testing whether they can fracture what life itself could not. And here begins the deeper trial, not merely surviving hardship, but refusing to let it calcify your soul. This is no small feat. It's about more than enduring. It's about choosing what you become in the aftermath. Most let suffering twist them into shadows of themselves, cynical, guarded, their trust eroded, their capacity for love diminished. They retreat behind walls, convinced the world's cruelty justifies their own. But a woman favored by God defies this path. She remains open, not out of naivety, but from a profound understanding that true power blooms in vulnerability. She won't let pain strip her of her ability to feel deeply, nor will she let the world's harshness turn her heart to stone. Reflect on that for a moment. To stay gentle when every instinct screams to harden. That is strength beyond measure. To hold fast to love after betrayal has cut deep. That is faith in its purest form. To stand tall after every stumble, facing new challenges armed with the certainty that you've conquered worse, that is raw, unshakable power. The world doesn't always honor this. Often it resists it. People will question your resolve, misread your endurance as pride, wonder why you don't mirror their bitterness. They'll test you, waiting for a crack to appear, not grasping that you've already faced the abyss and clawed your way back. What could their petty trials do that life's fiercest storms couldn't? There's a quiet terror in someone who has shed all fear, someone who has hit rock bottom, dusted off the ashes, and rebuilt themselves brick by brick. This isn't the loud, brash confidence of the untested. It's the steady, rooted certainty of a woman who knows her worth, her limits, and her capacity to transcend both. That's the mark of divine favor, not a gift bestowed on the timid or the stagnant, but a mantle earned by those who prove they can shoulder its weight. And make no mistake, this favor isn't just a shower of blessings. It's a call to responsibility. It's a charge to carry your scars as badges of honor, to inspire others with your unbroken spirit. When you walk this path, you don't just transform yourself. You ripple outward, touching lives you may never fully see. People whisper about your resilience in quiet corners, draw courage from your example, and find hope in the way you've turned wounds into wisdom. Yet, not all will rise to meet you. Some will shrink from the mirror you hold up, unable to face their own untested depths. That's their burden, not yours. For you, the woman favored by God, suffering isn't a curse to flee. It's a forge where your soul is shaped, a tool that hones you into something extraordinary. Most lack the will to wield it, but you've turned it into a crown. And that crown, heavy as it may be, is yours to wear with pride, a symbol of a purpose far greater than the world's fleeting applause. Sign 2, a magnetic presence. Picture this. You walk into a room, and without a single word, the air shifts, subtle, yet undeniable. Heads turn, not because you've announced your arrival, but because they feel it instinctively. This is the second sign of a woman favored by God, a magnetic presence that marks you as extraordinary. There's something about you that people notice, even when you're not trying to draw attention. It's not just the obvious, your appearance, with its quiet elegance, or the way your words land with unexpected weight. No, it's far more profound. It's the way you carry yourself, an effortless grace that radiates from within, as if every step you take is guided by an unseen strength. It's how you move through the world, threading through life's storms with a calm that both disquiets and enchants. Some squirm under this aura, unsettled by a power they can't define. Perhaps it mirrors their own fragility, stirring a discomfort they'd rather ignore. Others are pulled in, irresistibly drawn to you like a compass to true north, craving the steady light of your realness. And here's the key. This isn't a facade. You're not performing, not straining to impress, not twisting yourself to fit someone else's mold. This is no act of vanity or rehearsed charm. It's the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. You're different, not in a brash or boastful way, but in a quiet, soul-deep sense that echoes through every gesture, every glance. This presence stems from a wellspring of resilience, forged in fires you've walked through unscathed. It's the wisdom etched into you by trials you've turned into triumphs, the courage of a spirit that bends but never breaks. People feel this history in you. They sense the battles you've won without bragging, the losses you've transformed into lessons. It's why your laugh carries a depth that lingers, why your silence speaks louder than most people's shouts. This isn't mere charisma. It's a divine imprint, a mark of favor from a higher power that says you were crafted for more. Sometimes it intimidates, making small minds shrink back, but it also inspires, lighting a path for those brave enough to follow. You don't chase this influence. It simply is, a testament to a life lived authentically, a soul aligned with something greater. That's the essence of your divine favor, a presence so potent it reshapes the space around you, revealing your purpose without you ever needing to prove it. Sign 3. Polarizing reactions. Imagine standing apart, a solitary figure against the backdrop of a crowd, and suddenly noticing a peculiar rhythm weaving through your life. It's not subtle, it's striking. People don't just pass by you with indifference. They either gravitate toward you with an almost magnetic pull, or push against you with a resistance that feels strangely irrational. There's rarely a middle ground, no lukewarm response, and that can weigh on you, can't it? After all, most of us are wired to crave approval, to slip comfortably into the fabric of acceptance, to be understood without effort. We long to be liked, to blend in seamlessly, to avoid the friction of standing out. But when you're a woman favored by God, that's not the road laid before you. It's not even an option. Instead, your very existence carries a weight that shifts the air around you. Step into a room, and the atmosphere bends. Conversations pause, eyes turn, and something unspoken ripples through the space. Why? Because you're not just present. You're a presence. For some, this is a gift they can't resist. They sense the strength carved into your being, the depth that runs like a quiet river beneath your words, the wisdom that glows softly in your gaze. They feel an inexplicable safety near you, a refuge they didn't know they needed. Without fully understanding why, they seek you out, drawn to you like moths to a flame, trusting you instinctively, as if your soul whispers truths they've longed to hear. They might not articulate it, might not even realize it themselves, but they're captivated by something rare in you, a light that shines without fanfare, a steadiness that anchors them. This is no accident. It's a mark of your divine favor, a sign that you're meant to lift others, to guide them towards something greater. But then there's the other side, the shadow to this light. Not everyone welcomes your radiance. Some feel it like a threat, a silent challenge to their carefully guarded illusions. They see your power, and instead of marveling at it, they bristle with resentment. Your confidence, so natural and unforced, they misread as arrogance. Your independence, a quiet strength that needs no validation, they perceive as an affront, a dare they can't answer. Your very presence becomes a mirror they didn't ask to face, reflecting everything they lack: courage, clarity, purpose. And so, they react. They whisper behind your back, spinning tales to tarnish your shine. They criticize, picking at flaws that don't exist, hoping to chip away at your foundation. They test you relentlessly, probing for weakness, waiting for you to crack. Some even cloak themselves as friends, offering smiles that fade the moment they realize your spirit can't be tamed or diminished. When they see they can't control you, they vanish, leaving echoes of their envy behind. At first, this duality stings. You might lie awake at night, replaying their words, questioning yourself. Why do some despise me when I've offered no harm? Why does my life feel like a pendulum swinging between deep love and stark misunderstanding? If you're not vigilant, that doubt can creep in, whispering that you're the flaw, the misfit, the problem. But pause, breathe, and hear this. That's a lie, a fragile illusion meant to dim your light. The truth is far more profound. Your presence disrupts not because you're wrong, but because you're a force, a living testament to what's possible. Most people drift through life avoiding their own shadows, dodging the hard truths of their insecurities, their failures, their unhealed wounds. Then you arrive, self-assured, unshaken, a woman who knows who she is and where she's headed. Without even trying, you become a mirror they can't ignore. For some, that reflection sparks inspiration. They look at you and see a roadmap to growth, a call to rise above their own limits. They want to climb higher, to shed their fears, to become more because you show them it's possible. But others, they recoil. That same mirror exposes their stagnation, their fragility, their refusal to change. Instead of stepping up, they lash out. Tearing you down feels easier than building themselves up. It's not about you. It's about them, their battle with the truth you unintentionally reveal. And here's where the path splits. Most buckle under this rejection, this resentment. They shrink, soften their edges, dim their glow, thinking, if I'm smaller, quieter, less me, maybe they'll accept me. Maybe they won't flinch at my strength. But that's not your calling, not even close. A woman favored by God doesn't bend to fit the molds others craft. She doesn't plead for understanding from those too blind to see her worth. She doesn't dilute herself to soothe the discomfort of those who fear their own shortcomings. No, she stands tall, unwavering, a pillar of light in a world that often prefers shadows. She moves forward, not with arrogance, but with a quiet certainty that her path is hers alone. She shines, not to dazzle, but because it's who she is, even when others wish she'd fade. You weren't made for everyone, and that's not a flaw. It's a design. You're not destined to nestle into every circle, to win every heart. The right ones, those meant to journey with you, will see your truth, cherish your strength, and rise beside you without hesitation. The rest, they'll drift away. Their rejection not a loss, but a gift. A clear sign they were never meant to stay. This is your proof. You're not ordinary. Their reactions, love or disdain, are echoes of your divine favor, a testament that you were never meant to blend in. Embrace it. Their departure isn't a wound to mourn. It's a victory to celebrate, a confirmation of your unique calling. You're set apart, and that's a grace worth treasuring. Sign 4. Divine intuition. Imagine standing in a crowded room, the chatter buzzing around you, yet something feels off, an undercurrent no one else seems to notice. This is the 4th sign of a woman favored by God, an uncanny ability to sense what lies beneath the surface, to know things before they unfold, to feel a shift in the air before it's apparent to others. There's something deeply unsettling about this awareness, a quiet unease that comes with perceiving someone's words clashing with their hidden intentions or detecting a subtle change in energy that hints at unspoken truths. It's a burden, yes, to see what others cannot, to carry the weight of insight in a world that often prefers blissful ignorance. But it's also a profound gift, a divine compass bestowed upon her to navigate life's complexities. Unlike most, she isn't blind to the nuances around her. She's attuned, almost supernaturally so, to the whispers of the world, the flickers of deceit in a smile, the tension behind a casual remark, the silent warnings that ripple beneath polished facades. While others might dismiss their gut feelings, brushing them aside as fleeting doubts, or silence that inner voice urging caution, she does not. She can't. Her intuition isn't a vague hunch. It's a sharpened instinct, honed through years of hard-earned lessons. She's walked through enough shadows, betrayals masked as loyalty, promises broken by actions, to trust that this inner knowing is her shield. People may scoff, rolling their eyes and insisting she's overanalyzing, that she's conjuring problems where none exist, that her sensitivity is a flaw. You're imagining things, they say, or stop being so paranoid. But she knows better. She's traveled this road too long, seen too much, to doubt herself now. She recognizes manipulation before it tightens its grip, spots false promises before they unravel, and senses danger before it strikes. This foresight doesn't need external proof to stand firm. It's a truth she feels in her bones, a certainty that doesn't beg for validation. By the time the mask slips and the reality dawns on everyone else, she's already steps ahead. Because waiting for obvious evidence is a luxury she's learned she can't afford. This is why her trust is a rare and precious thing, not freely given but carefully measured. It's not that she's cold or closed off, far from it. She simply understands a fundamental truth. Not every soul who crosses her path is meant to linger. She's seen charm masquerade as character, heard honeyed words drip from lips that later wielded knives. So she listens, truly listens, not just to the surface of what's said, but to the silence between the lines. She watches how people move when they think no one's looking, how their energy shifts when the spotlight fades. She notices the small inconsistencies, the glance that lingers too long, the laugh that doesn't reach the eyes, and pieces them together like a puzzle others refuse to solve. Most people stumble here, don't they? They ignore the red flags waving in their periphery, drown out their instincts with hope, love, or a desperate need to be liked. They see the warning signs, shifty eyes, hollow promises, and convince themselves it's nothing, that they're overreacting. But not her. She knows that her intuition isn't a whisper to be ignored. It's a force, a divine protector woven into her very being, designed to steer her clear of harm's way. This clarity, though, comes with a price, a steep one. To see so clearly is to realize that not everyone welcomes being seen. Some thrive in the shadows, relying on your blindness to bend you to their will. They need you to second-guess yourself, to question your instincts so they can hold the reins. And when they discover you're immune to their illusions, that you see through their carefully crafted lies, they recoil. They lash out, branding you difficult, accusing you of paranoia, or simply drifting away because your awareness is a mirror they can't face. It stings at first, the rejection, the isolation, but she soon learns it's not a loss to mourn. It's a liberation to embrace. Every person who turns from her for this reason is a signpost, a revelation that they were never meant to walk her path. The ones who stay, the rare few who belong, don't flinch at her insight. They don't demand she dim her perception to ease their discomfort. Instead, they cherish her wisdom, honor her instincts, and grow beside her, unafraid of the light she casts. So she stands unapologetic, refusing to mute the voice that has guided her through storms. She won't shrink her awareness to soothe those who'd rather stay blind. This intuition, this divine gift, isn't just a part of her. It's her strength, her North Star. She's learned to trust it, even when the world shouts otherwise, because it's saved her more times than she can count. It's the quiet power that sets her apart, a sacred tool that proves she's favored, protected, and destined for a purpose beyond the ordinary. And in that trust, she finds not just survival, but triumph. Sign 5. Resilience through trials. Consider this a defining mark of a woman favored by God. Her life is not a gentle stream flowing effortlessly toward peace. Far from it. She is not cocooned in comfort, shielded from the storms of hardship, nor does she receive her blessings on a silver platter, unearned and untested. Instead, her journey is one of relentless trials, a crucible where she is shaped and refined. She faces obstacles that would shatter the spirit of most, towering walls of adversity that demand she confront her deepest fears head-on. Moments so dark, they force her to question the very core of who she is and what she believes. There are times when the weight feels unbearable, when doubt creeps in like a shadow, when frustration spills out in raw, unfiltered cries to the heavens. And yet, through it all, she does not break. She may stumble, her knees may buckle under the pressure, she may pause to catch her breath, but collapse? Never. Each trial, each searing test is forging her into something extraordinary, a force so strong, so unshakable that no tempest life conjures can tear her down. But let's be clear, this resilience isn't a gift she was simply born with, a trait handed to her without effort. No, it's a hard-won strength, meticulously built brick by brick through the fires of suffering, the sting of disappointment, and the courage to tread paths others shrink from in fear. She has walked through valleys of despair where others would have surrendered, faced betrayals that could have hardened her heart, and endured losses that might have extinguished a lesser flame. Yet she emerges not diminished but fortified. Because of this, pressure doesn't crush her, it polishes her. When plans unravel and chaos reigns, she doesn't dissolve into despair. She adapts, she endures, she rises. She has come to see struggle not as a cruel punishment, not as a sign of abandonment, but as a sacred preparation. It's life's way of sculpting her, chiseling away the fragile edges to reveal a woman capable of bearing the immense weight of greatness without buckling. This is no small feat. Most people, when faced with relentless challenges, let the cracks widen until they shatter entirely. They retreat, they blame, they wilt. But she transforms the pain into power, the setbacks into stepping stones. She learns from every fall, gathers wisdom from every wound, and builds a foundation so solid that no storm can uproot it. Her life becomes a testament to the truth that greatness isn't bestowed, it's earned. And in earning it, she proves she can carry its burden, not just for herself, but as a beacon for others who dare to follow. This is the mark of divine favor, not an escape from hardship, but the strength to rise through it, unbroken and unbowed. Sign 6, unshakable confidence. And yet, when people cast their eyes upon her, they often make a fleeting, shallow assumption. Her life must have been a smooth, effortless journey. They see her standing tall, exuding confidence like a beacon, her strength a quiet force that steadies her through chaos, and her grace a seamless dance through life's unpredictable storms. To them, it seems she must have been born this way, untouched by hardship, gifted with an innate ease they can only dream of. But oh, how wrong they are. They cannot see the invisible wars she has waged, the battles fought in the shadows of her own soul, far from the prying eyes of the world. They don't witness the long, restless nights when doubt crept in like a thief, whispering lies of defeat, tempting her to surrender. They don't see the moments she stood at the edge of despair, her spirit trembling, yearning to give up. Yet she clenched her fists, dug deep, and refused to let go. They miss the countless times she gathered the shattered pieces of herself, rebuilding from the ashes of nothing, brick by painful brick, until she stood whole again. What they fail to grasp are the sacrifices etched into her story, the time she turned her back on fleeting comfort to chase the hard, unglamorous path of growth. They don't see how she steeled herself against life's cruelties, forging an armor not of bitterness, but of resilience, a shield crafted from every tear shed and every wound endured. And here's the profound truth. When you are a woman who has walked through such fires, when you've been refined by trials that would shatter most, you no longer flinch at life's petty provocations. Temporary setbacks, they're mere ripples on the surface of a deep, unshakable sea. Criticism, it slides off her like rain on stone, unable to pierce the core of who she's become. She doesn't waste her breath proving her worth to those too blind to see it, because her value isn't a debate. It's a fact, carved into her being by every obstacle she's conquered. She knows who she is, not because someone told her, but because she's discovered it in the crucible of her own survival. She understands what she's overcome: betrayal, loss, moments of utter isolation, and she's fully aware of what she's capable of. A strength so rooted that no external praise or scorn can uproot it. This unshakable confidence, this quiet, resolute power, sends a shiver through those who witness it, and it's no wonder why. It terrifies them. Most of the world stumbles through life shackled by insecurity, their every choice dictated by a chorus of fears. Fear of rejection that keeps them small, fear of failure that paralyzes their dreams, fear of solitude that binds them to hollow connections. But not her. She's already stared those fears in the face, felt their cold grip, and walked through them unscathed. She's been cast aside, overlooked by those too short-sighted to see her potential, underestimated by voices that thought they could define her limits. Yet every time she rose, defying their predictions, proving them wrong with the steady rhythm of her ascent. And because of this, she is free in a way most can't comprehend. Free from the desperate need for approval that chains so many to others' opinions. Free from the dread of standing alone, for she's learned solitude is not a curse, but a sanctuary. Free from the invisible walls that trap countless souls in lives of quiet resignation, unfulfilled and untested. This freedom isn't just a gift, it's a testament to her journey, a crown she wears not with arrogance, but with the calm assurance of someone who has earned it. She doesn't need the world to cheer her on, because the applause she values most echoes from within, a steady rhythm born of every silent victory. And while others may scramble to fit into molds that promise safety, she walks her own path, unshaken, unbound, a living proof that true strength isn't loud or boastful. It's the quiet certainty of a woman who knows she's already survived the worst and emerged not just intact, but invincible. Sign 7. Freedom from fear. Freedom is a gift, but it is never free. It comes tethered to a mantle of responsibility that only the truly strong can bear. When you stand tall in your strength, when you walk with the independence of someone who no longer craves the world's approval, you step into a new arena of trials, ones designed not to break you, but to test the depth of your resolve. This is a defining mark of a woman favored by God. She thrives under pressure that would crush others. People will notice your unshakable spirit, and some will feel compelled to probe for weaknesses, searching for fissures in the foundation of your confidence. They'll whisper doubts, cast subtle jabs, or openly challenge you. Not because you falter, but because your strength is a mystery they cannot unravel. They'll label you as too much, too intense in your passion, too ambitious in your dreams, too independent in your choices, because they cannot fathom the fires you've walked through to forge who you are today. They don't see the sleepless nights, the quiet battles, the moments you rebuilt yourself from ashes. To them, your resilience seems effortless, but they miss the truth. It's a hard-earned crown you wear with grace. This is where the paths diverge. Most people, when faced with such scrutiny, begin to waver. The world's discomfort seeps into their minds, planting seeds of self-doubt. They question their worth, wondering if they've overstepped some invisible line. To ease the tension, they soften their edges, dim their light, and shrink their presence, hoping to blend into the crowd and escape the weight of judgment. They trade their authenticity for acceptance, muting their strengths so others feel less threatened by their potential. But that is not your story. You, a woman touched by divine favor, refuse to bend under such pressure. You don't apologize for the power that courses through you, nor do you reshape yourself to fit into molds too small for your spirit. You don't water down your essence to become more palatable to those who fear what they cannot control. Instead, you stand firm, rooted in the knowledge of who you are and what you've overcome. Your strength isn't just a shield, it's a beacon, a challenge to those around you. You move forward with purpose, unafraid to let your presence stir the air, to unsettle those who need unsettling. Some will rise to meet you, inspired by the fire in your soul. Others will retreat, unable to face the mirror you hold up to their insecurities. And that's okay. You don't exhaust yourself trying to explain your journey to those who were never meant to walk it with you. You don't waste energy seeking validation from eyes too blind to see your worth. A woman favored by God knows her value isn't contingent on the world's applause. It's etched into her being by a higher hand. So, when the tests come, when the accusations fly, when the whispers grow loud, you lift your head higher. You let your life speak, not in defense, but in quiet defiance of anyone who dares to diminish you. This is your path, not to shrink but to rise, not to conform but to transform, not to be understood by all, but to be true to the calling that sets you apart. If you see these signs woven into the fabric of your life, let this truth sink deep into your soul. You are not ordinary, nor were you ever meant to be. The battles you've fought, the strength you've forged, the wisdom you've gained, and the resilience that defines you, these are not mere coincidences. They are undeniable evidence that you are a woman touched by divine favor. You are not just surviving. You are being guided, shielded, and sculpted for a destiny so grand, it stretches beyond the horizon of what you can yet see. If there's one truth I urge you to carry forward from these words, let it be this. Never shrink yourself to ease the discomfort of others. Never dim the brilliance of your light to blend into the shadows. Step forward with unshakable courage. Lean into the whisper of your intuition and embrace the fullness of your power. You were born to fulfill a purpose uniquely yours, a calling that demands you stand tall, not bow low. The world has enough voices of conformity. What it craves, what it desperately needs, are women who dare to rise, who ignite change, who redefine what's possible. So I ask you now, with the fire of this truth burning bright, are you ready to claim the woman you were always destined to become? Are you ready to shed the doubts, silence the noise, and walk boldly into your greatness? If these words have stirred something within you, if they've lit a spark in your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Drop a comment below. Share your story, your strength, your resolve. Let's lift each other higher. Like this message, if it resonates, share it with the women in your life who need to hear it, and subscribe for more fuel to empower your journey. Together, let's rise, because your time is now.